5 Meditations Rich. www.5meditations.com. Effortlessly transform your life with the power of hypnosis. I have provided a powerful hypnotic session to accompany each of the meditations that are featured in this book. The sessions are designed to target your subconscious mind and transform your inner wealth blueprint quickly and effortlessly. Each MP3 session costs just $27 use. They are not essential, but they are very highly recommended and will dramatically boost your results from using these meditations. To purchase any of the hypnotic sessions for instant download, simply click on the link following the meditation. Customer feedback. Steve, your book, 5 Meditations That Will Make You Rich, is a good informative read, but the meditations are a must. Since I received the meditations, I have listened to at least one of them every evening. I have felt so motivated and a real shift in the way I feel about money and being wealthy. I have always had trouble visualizing my goals, but after only the second time of listening to Modeling the Rich, I could see vivid pictures of the house I would like to live in, standing at open French windows looking out onto my garden, etc., and also driving my new convertible car. They were real wow moments. Last night I listened to the motivation session again. I got really emotional when thinking about what my future would be like if I just stayed as I am, and was on the verge of tears. Then suddenly, when I started visualizing how I wanted my future to be, I had a real shift in emotions. I was smiling, felt happy, and had a tingle run through my body. Now that was really a wow moment. Thanks for introducing me to your meditations. Not only am I feeling the shift, but with listening to the meditations in the evening, I find it a really good way to wind down, relax, and on occasion fall asleep. I know though that even as I sleep, my subconscious will still take it all in. Thanks. J. Myers, entrepreneur. Wisbech, Cambridgeshire, UK. An introduction to meditation. Before we get into the meditations themselves, let's take a few moments to talk about meditation, how to do it and what to expect. If you've never done any formal meditation before, don't worry, it's really easy. All you have to do is relax. The technical goal of meditation is to slow down the frequency of your brainwave patterns from around 13 to 40 cycles per second, which is known as beta, or normal waking consciousness, to about 8 to 13 cycles per second, which is known as alpha, or light trance. There are also 2 other states, known as theta and delta. These are associated with sleep. We are primarily interested in the alpha state, because while you are in this state, it is much easier for your subconscious mind to accept suggestions for change. This makes alpha an incredibly beneficial state for learning and personal development. Everybody experiences the alpha state many times a day. It happens when we relax in the bath, are engrossed in a good book, watching a good film, gazing into the flames of a fire, making love, or even just daydreaming. We also go through the alpha state every night as we fall asleep, and again each morning as we wake. To enter the alpha state consciously, all you have to do is relax and focus on your breathing. If you have a specific meditation or relaxation technique that you enjoy, then by all means use it as a vehicle to access alpha. If you have never tried meditation before, then you don't have to overcomplicate the process, just relax and focus on your breathing. You might like to mentally repeat the word relax nice and slowly on each out breath. When you enter the alpha state, you feel focused, calm and relaxed. You are able to concentrate on something so exclusively that you can easily lose awareness of the outside world. Most people will have noticed this experience while reading a good book. A naturally occurring alpha state is identical to the state achieved during hypnotic induction. Although many people do not realize it, everybody enters the state that we call hypnosis several times every single day. For the meditations in this book to be effective, you should relax yourself into an alpha state before you go through each meditation. You should also do the meditations often. Research indicates that a period of 21 days of daily focus is required to create a lasting change at a subconscious level. I have provided professional hypnotic MP3 recordings to accompany each meditation. These will substantially boost your success. Each hypnotic recording offers much more than the meditations featured in the book and should substantially increase your success. Meditation #1 A Wealth Thermostat. A wealth thermostat is a subconscious process that regulates how much money we can make. We all have them, and most of us are constantly struggling to break free of poverty because they are set far too low. Wealth thermostats work in a similar way to conventional thermostats, such as the one that regulates the temperature in your home. If your home is too cold, the thermostat will turn the heating on. The house will then heat up until it reaches, or slightly exceeds, the desired temperature. Then the thermostat will turn the heating back off so that the house can cool down. The exact same process is going on in your subconscious mind every single second of every single day. The amount of money you are currently earning is in complete alignment with the setting on your wealth thermostat. If your income suddenly increases without changing your wealth thermostat setting, your subconscious mind will think that you are too rich. This is exactly the same as the thermostat in your home thinking that you are too hot. The result? It will try to cool you down. In other words, your wealth thermostat will do everything in its power to bring you back within your agreed limit. You might like to think of this as a comfort zone. Everybody has an upper limit on what they feel subconsciously comfortable earning. If they suddenly exceed that limit, they find themselves outside of their comfort zone, and the subconscious mind will take whatever action is necessary to bring them back within the zone as quickly as possible. The important word here is subconsciously. What you feel subconsciously comfortable earning is very probably a lot less than you feel consciously comfortable earning. This is very important. Whenever there is conflict between your subconscious and conscious mind, the subconscious mind will always win. This is why it's so difficult for people to overcome irrational fears and phobias. If you have accepted something as true at a subconscious level, it doesn't matter how irrational or ridiculous it appears consciously, you have to obey it. It's very important that you understand the role of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is protecting you. Its primary goal is to make sure you are still here tomorrow. And, because you're here today, obviously, what you did yesterday must have been effective, so it wants you to carry on doing that. Any deviation from the norm is considered a threat to your existence, and your subconscious mind takes such threats very seriously. The setting on your wealth thermostat is part of the status quo that your subconscious mind is desperate to maintain. The wealth thermostat has both an upper and a lower limit. If you drop below the lower limit and slip into poverty, the wealth thermostat comes to the rescue and something happens that saves you. That something might appear to be totally out of your control, but it isn't. Your subconscious mind has access to information that far exceeds your conscious perception or reasoning. Whatever happens that saves you when it appears as though nothing can is a direct result of your subconscious mind. Of course, this safety net is a very welcome attribute of the wealth thermostat. But the other end of the scale is not. If your income exceeds the upper limits of your wealth thermostat, your subconscious mind will sabotage your success. Because your subconscious dictates everything you do, think and feel, it's incredibly easy for it to bring you back down to within there, subconsciously. Agreed limits. It doesn't take much imagination to think of countless ways that you subconscious can do this. It could very easily distract your attention for a few moments as you speed through a camera or run a red light, resulting in a fine that brings you safely within the subconsciously agreed limits. Or maybe cause you to oversleep, forget to set an alarm, miss an important call, or turn up late for a meeting. The possibilities are endless. If your subconscious mind believes that your increased wealth is a threat, it will definitely sabotage it. The only way to avoid this is to turn up your wealth thermostat. Of course, this has the added benefit of raising the lower limits of what your subconscious mind will allow you to earn. And if your current income falls below that limit, Your subconscious mind will do everything within its power to get you above it as fast as possible. When this happens, you'll find that insights and ideas of ways to increase your abundance seem to come from nowhere. You'll feel as though you have become a wealth magnet, and you'll be able to very easily identify business opportunities that will increase your prosperity. People will say you must have been born with the silver spoon in your mouth, and you'll very quickly find that your income explodes. Until, of course, it reaches your new comfort zone. Then it'll stagnate, and any attempt you make to try and push your wealth beyond your new upper limits will be sabotaged by your subconscious mind. Of course, once you get to this stage, you can set a new limit. I guess by now, you have one very important and burning question. How do you increase your wealth thermostat? There are two very effective visualization exercises that you can do to increase the setting on your wealth thermostat. These exercises should be done at least once each day. Ideally, you should do these visualization exercises twice daily, once in the morning just after you wake and once in the evening just before you go to sleep. To begin, the exercises will very probably feel as though they are not doing anything at all. But that's okay. Everything happens at a subconscious level before you begin to notice any change. After a few days, or maybe a week, you'll begin to feel a sense of resistance to the exercises. This can manifest in many ways. You might lose faith in them, forget to do them, become bored with them, or find that you simply don't have the time to do them. These feelings are your subconscious mind's defense system kicking in. This is a very clear sign that they are beginning to work. Your subconscious will resist this change and try to sabotage your success. It's very important that you push through this sabotage, because you're now on the threshold of change. As you continue to do the exercises, you'll begin to notice changes in the way that you feel about money. This is a sign that your subconscious mind has accepted the new program. At this point you'll begin attracting and noticing more opportunities, and your abundance will naturally begin to grow. Most people that go through this change don't consciously recognize it. Seeing change in yourself isn't easy, but others will be able to see it. Many of your well-meaning friends will subconsciously try to sabotage your success and prevent the change. They'll try to tell you that it's all nonsense, or that you're wasting your time. They'll try to distract you and encourage you to do things that will cause you to slip back into your old ways. This is their subconscious mind's defense system kicking in. It doesn't want you to change either. When you recognize this, accept it as a definite sign that you have changed and allow that feeling to motivate you even more. None of your friends are consciously trying to sabotage your success. Consciously they'll be very happy for you, but subconsciously they need you to stay the same as you've always been. Of course, once you've pushed through the transition and your subconscious mind has fully accepted the changes, it'll begin protecting your new wealth blueprint, and you'll find wealth creation easy. Wealth Thermostat Meditation, Option 1, Thinking Big. This meditation challenges you to expand your thinking way beyond your desire. Once you've explored possibilities that completely dwarf your previously perceived limits, it is much easier to attain them. One of the easiest ways to visualize this concept is to think of a spring. When you stretch a spring within its limits and then let it go, it quickly returns to its original size. But if you overstretch the spring, you break its limit and it can never return to the original size. This is exactly the same with your wealth thermostat. When you think really big and imagine having much more money than you desire, you temporarily shift your wealth blueprint. This raises your wealth thermostat considerably. When you end your meditation and go back to normal thinking, the thermostat contracts back towards its original size, but it never goes back all of the way. For this meditation to be effective, you have to fully associate with the experience of being immensely wealthy, and, most importantly, you must enjoy the exercise. In fact, let's ditch the word exercise because that makes it sound like work, and instead think of this meditation as a game. The object of the game is to feel immensely wealthy. To begin, Allow yourself to relax and turn your focus inward. Concentrate on your breathing and feel your body becoming more and more relaxed with each out-breath. Once you have reached the alpha state, see the section on meditation at the beginning of the book for more information on this. You should begin your visualization game. Play this game in exactly the same way that a child would. Think big. Really big. Don't limit yourself in any way. Don't worry about the whys, ifs and buts, just fantasize about the what-ifs and allow yourself to get completely carried away. Imagine that you have anything and everything that you could ever desire. Then double it. See cash piling up all around you, imagine money flowing into your life from every direction, see the amazing things that you are able to do with your enormous fortune. Fully associate yourself into the experience as though it is really happening. See through the eyes of your abundant self, hear the amazing things that people will say about your generosity. Bathe in the wonderful feelings that ripple through your body every time you imagine your fortune growing even greater. Now crank up that image, make it bigger and brighter, bring it really close and jump right into it. Adjust the qualities of your visualization and notice how they change the way it makes you feel. For most people, bringing the image closer, making it bigger and brighter and really vibrant will substantially increase the emotional connection. Experiment with the visual qualities of your creation and do whatever it takes to make you feel most wonderful. Now play with the sounds, make it louder, add a fanfare of trumpets, hear people cheering your success. Imagine you can hear your parents very proudly boasting of your successes to their friends. Imagine that your good deeds are being broadcast to the world, hear your name being read out on the top 100 rich people list. Listen to your own inner voice proudly and confidently telling you that you made it. Enjoy playing with your creation and challenge yourself to think in even bigger ways. Mix it up and try out different fantasies. Experiment with visualizing some of the wonderful things you'll buy, such as classic cars, a luxury mansion or a private jet. Think of some of the incredible ways that you'll be able to give back to the world, the good causes you'll support and the difference you'll be able to make. Feel a sense of purpose and meaning building up inside your body as you use your immense wealth as a force of good. Bathe in the gratitude of those that you help and inspire and allow that wonderful feeling of gratitude to circulate as you give thanks for your amazing life. Right now you can have, be or do absolutely anything you desire. Breathe in that feeling of power and know that anything and everything is possible. Dream beyond limits. Focus on all of the love in your heart and feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude for everything. Within your dream, smile to yourself as you allow your heart to remind you that life is amazing. Reprogram your mind with the power of hypnosis. The Wealth Thermostat, Thinking Big. Meditation is available as a powerful hypnotic MP3 recording for instant download. Just relax and listen. The easiest and fastest way to reprogram your inner wealth blueprint. Only $27. Click here to order. Special offer, save $95. All 6 hypnosis recordings for only $67. Click here to order. Wealth Thermostat Meditation, Option 2, The Control Room. Our second Wealth Thermostat Meditation is a very simple exercise that you can use to change any aspect of your personality. This works because the visualization communicates your desire to your subconscious mind. You don't need to understand exactly how or why it works for it to be effective. Simply go through the exercise and trust that your subconscious mind understands the process. During this visualization you will imagine that you are in a huge building. This building represents you. Somewhere in the basement of the building, which is a metaphor for your subconscious mind, you will find a control room. In the control room there are many switches and dials that affect different aspects of your personality. For example, one of the dials is labeled confidence. This dial affects how confident you feel in any given situation. If you turn this dial up you will feel an increase in your level of confidence, and if you turn it down, you will feel a drop in your level of confidence. Sometimes, When you adjust a dial, it will naturally spring back to its original setting. To prevent this, you can turn the dial to your desired setting and lock it into place. Every dial has a locking mechanism that you can open or close. When the lock is open, you can freely move the setting on the dial. When the lock is closed, the setting is locked in and cannot move. You may discover that some of the dials have been locked to a setting that is too high or too low. You can very easily unlock these dials and adjust them accordingly before locking them into their new position. You can return to your control room as often as you like and make whatever changes you feel are necessary. Every aspect of your personality has a dial in this room that you can adjust. For now, we are going to focus on the wealth thermostat dial. Locate the dial that controls your wealth thermostat now. If the dial is locked, unlock it so that you can move it freely and then turn it up very slowly. There are numbers on a display next to the dial that represent how much income you can comfortably earn. You will notice that the dial can rotate in either direction indefinitely. As you rotate the dial in a clockwise direction, the numbers go up. If you rotate the dial counterclockwise, the numbers go down. As you slowly rotate the dial in a clockwise direction, the numbers on the display that represent the level of income you are comfortable earning increase. Watch the numbers increase and really focus on your feelings. You may notice that you begin to feel excited, motivated and confident about the future. You may become anxious, nervous or worried. You may not notice any feelings at all. Whatever you feel is okay. Just turn up the dial and watch the numbers increase. When you have reached the setting that you desire, lock the dial in place. Any negative feelings that you experience will help to bring any counter-intentions that you might have to the surface. These are negative thoughts or feelings that are holding you back from achieving your goals. In many cases, just becoming aware of counter-intentions is enough for them to dissolve automatically. When you come back to the control room next time, the dial may have moved. That's okay, just set it back to the level you desire and reactivate the lock. It usually takes 3 or 4 visits before the new setting is fully locked into place. At this stage you will begin to notice very subtle changes in the way that you feel about money. The control room allows you to consciously manipulate your subconscious mind and create a wealth blueprint that very quickly becomes your new standard. It's a very simple meditation, but it's also very effective. Reprogram your mind with the power of hypnosis. The Wealth Thermostat Control Room Meditation is available as a powerful hypnotic MP3 recording for instant download. Just relax and listen. The easiest and fastest way to reprogram your inner wealth blueprint. Only $27. Click here to order. Special offer, save $95. All 6 hypnosis recordings for only $67. Click here to order. Meditation #2 Modeling the Rich. Modeling is an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, term. It's basically psychology speak for acting. Or, if you prefer, playing make-believe. One of the primary, but not only, reasons that modeling works is because the subconscious mind has great difficulty in telling the difference between what's real and what's imagined. This is why we get scared when we watch horror films and want to cry during tragedies, even though we consciously know that they're not real. For many years, modeling has been successfully used by athletes to substantially boost performance. An interesting study from the University of Chicago into the power of visualization really helps to illustrate the power of modeling. During the 30-day study, 3 groups of basketball players were sent to the gym for 1 hour per day. The first group spent the hour practicing shooting hoops. The second group spent their hour relaxing as they imagined shooting hoops, and the third group just relaxed and were instructed to forget all about basketball. At the end of the 30 days, all 3 groups were tested. As expected, the last group showed no improvement. In fact, they showed a slight decrease in ability, which is what common sense would predict, because, as we all know, if you don't use it, you lose it! Also, as expected, the first group, The ones that practiced for real, didn't prove, on average their performance increased by 24%. However, the real shocker was the second group. Even though they hadn't physically touched a basketball in 30 days, they showed an overall performance increase of 23%, almost identical to the players that practiced for real. This study really emphasizes the power of visualization and reinforces the fact that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real or an imagined experience. Of course, the study wasn't designed to test modeling, just visualization, but modeling is visualization turbocharged. Modeling is a great way to improve any physical skill, so it's very effective, and very popular, with professional sports people. A lesser-known benefit of modeling is that it can also be used to achieve the emotional qualities of another person. This is particularly useful if you want to feel confident. Similarly, you can also use modeling to feel rich. When you model, or pretend to be, a rich person, you fool your subconscious mind into thinking that you are rich. This helps to create a new blueprint at a subconscious level that automatically causes you to do things that rich people do. As a result, you start to get things that rich people get. More money. On a more esoteric level, modeling a rich person causes you to change your vibrational frequency so that you attract richer things into your life. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. When you tune into the vibrational frequency of wealth, you begin attracting things into your life that have a sympathetic resonance with that frequency. In other words, you attract more wealth. The most important thing to understand about modeling is that it will only attract more of what you're feeling into your life. So, if you pretend to be rich by buying things you can't afford on credit that you'll never be able to pay back, you might look wealthy from the outside. But if you don't feel it on the in, you're not going to attract it. In fact, you'll probably attract the exact opposite, because that's what you'll be feeling. Modeling works on emotions. You simply need to feel as though you're a person that already has whatever it is you desire. Remember, you're not trying to fool anybody on the outside, you're simply conditioning somebody, yourself, on the in. To help you tune into the feeling of already having whatever it is you desire, you can use wealth props. You don't have to waste your money buying any of these, just try them. If you want to know what it really feels like to wear the kind of clothes you'll buy when you're rich, then go and try them on. You don't have to buy anything, just try them on and lock in that feeling of wearing them, so that you can bring them into your meditation later and feel as though you already own them. The same goes for a flashy car, exotic holiday or luxury home. Take the car for a test drive, look through holiday brochures, plan your exotic trip and book an appointment to view your dream home. When you're there, pretend it's already yours and lock in that feeling so that you can use it later to begin creating it for real. During a conventional modeling session, you'd normally choose a person to model that already has whatever it is you want. You then step into them in much the same way you'd put on an all-in-one boiler suit. Understandably, most people choose to model famous celebrities or sporting heroes. However, you can model anybody. You can create a person if you want, or even model a cartoon character or superhero. One of my favorite, and I believe one of the most effective, people to model is your future self. To do this, just imagine a future you that already has whatever it is that you want and then step into them. This is an incredibly powerful meditation that not only transforms your life but brings you powerful insights that you just don't get from modeling other people. Before you begin your modeling meditation, you must pick a person to model. An important thing to consider here is that you don't have to model everything about your chosen person, just take the parts that you need. So if they're terrible at holding down a relationship but great at making profitable business decisions, then just model that part of their life. Imagine them in a situation where they really excel and then step into that. Once you have selected your target, relax and focus on your breathing. As you feel yourself entering the alpha state, bring your chosen subject to mind. Watch them doing the things that you want to model. This could be making decisions and taking actions that will increase their abundance or simply enjoying their success. Now make this visualization life-size, have it grow in all directions until you are inside the scene. Walk around the scene and watch the person you have chosen from all sides. Notice their facial expression, body posture and energy. When you feel ready, walk up to the person from behind and imagine that they have a zipper running all the way down their back. Pull the zipper down and step inside the person in much the same way as you would step into a boiler suit. Push your arms down inside theirs and feel your hands slide into their hands as though you are putting on the pair of gloves. Step into their legs as though you are stepping into a pair of trousers and feel your feet slide down into their feet. Now imagine that your head is locking into theirs so that you can see through their eyes. Fully lock yourself inside so that you can hear through their ears and smell with their nose. You are now fully connected with this person on every level. As they move, you move, what they see you see, how they feel, you feel. Now that you are fully inside, allow yourself to tune into the energy of this person completely. Feel their subtle energies merging with yours. As you do, notice how you feel. Do you feel your energy lift or grow in some way? Breathe in this feeling and allow yourself to bathe in their energy. Now have them do whatever it is you want to model. Let go completely and allow their actions, thoughts and feelings to take control of your body. Notice how this makes you feel, and fully connect to the experience. Imagine that you have become this person on every level. Everything they're experiencing is yours too. Tune into their gratitude for, and appreciation of, life. When you are ready to close the meditation, step back out of their body and thank them for the experience. Then bring yourself back to fully waking consciousness in your own time. Each time you enter your meditation you can choose something new to model or simply build on your last experience. Over time you should create a complete picture of this person's life. The life you are creating may be made up from many different subjects, some real and some imagined, but that's perfectly okay. You are not trying to become a clone of any one person, you are simply using the people that you admire to create a rich lifestyle that you can impress upon your subconscious mind. The main goal of this meditation is to connect to the emotional experience of feeling wealthy. If modeling a person that has just won the lottery makes you feel wealthy, do that. If modeling a famous entrepreneur such as Richard Branson or Donald Trump makes you feel wealthy, do that. Experiment to see what works best for you. Usually the most effective activities to model are those that show people enjoying and sharing their wealth. Reprogram your mind with the power of hypnosis. The Modeling the Rich meditation is available as a powerful hypnotic MP3 recording for instant download. Just relax and listen. The easiest and fastest way to reprogram your inner wealth blueprint. Special offer, save $95. All 6 hypnosis recordings for only $67. Meditation #3 Finding Gold. Thinking positively is one of the most important aspects of wealth creation. If you want to succeed, you absolutely have to have a positive attitude. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that a positive attitude and a clearly defined goal are the most important qualities any person can develop. And that goes for all areas of self-development, not just wealth creation. A negative or pessimistic attitude is a great way for your subconscious mind to sabotage your success and protect itself from change. Remember, the subconscious mind doesn't like change, and it will do everything within its power to protect the beliefs, attitudes and habits that you have already accepted at a subconscious level. Of course, your subconscious mind isn't a fool. It doesn't just dismiss new ideas out of hand without good reason. It uses tricks to fool you into believing that it truly is acting for your best interest. One of the most prolific ways of disguising a negative attitude is to dress it up as being realistic. This is probably your subconscious mind's most powerful weapon. It fools you into thinking that by not taking action you are protecting yourself from a fall or failure. It convinces you that your best ideas and inspirations are simply unrealistic, they're pie in the sky and couldn't possibly succeed. All you'd be doing if you went down that path would be wasting your time. And probably stacks of cash. We've all talked ourselves out of countless life-changing opportunities because our subconscious tricks us into believing we're being unrealistic. And if our subconscious mind doesn't get us, our well-meaning friends will. I want to challenge you to break that cycle, to dare to believe in yourself, to push your goals beyond realistic and to dream without limits. Becoming a positive thinker is a very simple process, but it takes discipline. Unlike the other sections of this book, you're not going to confine this transformation to your daily meditations, you're going to make it a walking, talking, living meditation. You're going to condition yourself to think in new ways. It'll take some time before you can truly begin to appreciate the benefits of your investment, but it will most definitely be worth it. To make this transformation, all you have to do is play a very simple game. I'll get to the rules in just a moment, but first I want to tell you about the stages of the game. This game has 3 stages. During stage 1, you'll make mistakes. You'll forget to play the game and you'll slip back into your old ways. But that's okay, it's all part of the process. Before long you'll progress to stage 2. When you reach stage 2 you'll still have to consciously remind yourself to play the game, and you'll still have the odd slip up, but, and this is a huge but, you'll notice it. You'll become increasingly aware of the times that you forget to play or slip back into your old patterns. This is a huge step forward. When you reach this stage you can give yourself a very well-deserved pat on the back, and every time you notice that you have slipped up, smile to yourself as you start playing again. Next we have stage 3. Once you've realized that you have reached this stage, you'll already have been in it for some time. I remember the day I realized I'd reached stage 3 very clearly. What I did really surprised me, and shocked my friends. I'll tell you what happened in a second, but first, I want to share an experience that I once had on a London bus. A few years ago I was travelling across London to a seminar at the O2 Arena. The final leg of my tube journey was undergoing scheduled maintenance, so I had to switch to a replacement bus service. The replacement bus was heaving with people and it quickly became apparent that everyone on the bus was attending the same seminar, so we all got to chatting, a very rare but welcome experience on a London bus. I'm not sure exactly how we got onto the subject, but the topic of conversation was luck. One elderly gentleman that had previously been complaining about the tube closure did a complete 180 as soon as we started talking about luck. He obviously considered himself a lucky man, so his subconscious mind was now looking for reasons that the replacement bus journey was better than the tube. In fact, he did such a good job of selling his perception that the rest of our immediate group started to join in. This was fantastic. Everyone was coming up with reasons that the replacement bus service was better. One laddie commented on the ability to see the sights as we drove through the streets, and another praised the fact that she could get a signal on her mobile phone. As more and more people started to see the benefits of the bus journey, the entire mood shifted. Then, very innocently, one gentleman said that every cloud has a silver lining. His friend immediately responded by saying that his clouds were lined copper. A few people chuckled and another person chipped in that his clouds were lined with gold. Wow, what a concept! From that moment on I immediately decided that all of my clouds would be lined with gold. You've probably already guessed the rules of the game by now. All you have to do is find the gold. And I do mean gold. Don't just look for the silver lining and find what's good about a situation. Look for the gold and discover what's amazing about it. This is a really easy game to play. All you have to do is find the gold. Every time you hear anything negative, find the gold. It doesn't matter what the negative thing is or where it came from, just find the gold. Sometimes the negative trigger will be something you hear on the news or something a well-meaning friend tells you. Don't let it get you down. Find the gold. Challenge yourself to find the most amazing reason that whatever you've just heard is the best news ever. This is a game that I've been playing for many years. Of course, my experience on the bus encouraged me to step it up a little, but it's something I've really enjoyed for a very long time. Years ago, when I was doing a lot of soul searching, I became disturbingly aware of how intensely negative and pessimistic I was, and it scared the hell out of me. I was already an accomplished therapist at the time, and I was great at helping others to maintain a positive attitude, but I didn't have one. I felt like a Michelin star chef that goes home to a pot noodle. I knew I had to change. That's why I devised this game. I challenged myself to find something good in every piece of bad news I ever heard. During the first few days I constantly slipped back into my old negative patterns without even realizing. Within a week I was beginning to notice the slips as they happened and was able to challenge myself to come up with something positive. Within a month I was a natural. Every time I heard any bad news I automatically and immediately came up with a great reason for it being the best news of the day. I didn't even notice that I was doing it. It had become my new life blueprint, and my subconscious mind had fully accepted it. Then came the day that I did notice. I was at a friend's home and we were watching the news. The headlines that day revealed that Harold Shipman, a previously well-respected English doctor, had been arrested for murdering several of his patients. He was nicknamed Dr. Death by the tabloids, and at least 218 murders were later positively ascribed to him. Upon hearing this horrific news, my subconscious mind immediately started to feed me with reasons that it was great. Without pause or thinking, I stood up and proudly announced that this was fantastic news. I was genuinely delighted that people might see this as a reason to take responsibility for their own health and stop dropping their body off to be fixed by the doctors as though they're leaving their car at the garage for an mow. I visualized thousands of people turning to holistic therapies and exploring ways of maintaining their own health through meditation, self-hypnosis, Tai Chi or whatever. I imagined that this one incident might be the catalyst for a consciousness shift that would completely change humanity, a shift that would empower people, give them control of their lives and allow them to truly enjoy a long, happy and healthy life. As I become more and more absorbed in my dream, I become more and more enthusiastic about how great this was. Then one of my friends brought me back down to earth with a bump. He killed loads of people. Don't you care? Everyone was utterly shocked at my reaction. They were looking at me as though I'd killed all those people. That's the very second I realized that I'd nailed it. That's the very second that I knew that negativity could never ever affect me again. Because every cloud really does have a silver lining. Even the very darkest of clouds. And if you really challenge yourself to find it, you can even strike gold. So, now you know the game, it's time to start playing. From this moment forward, and every day for the rest of your life, every single time that you hear any bad news, find that gold. Reprogram your mind with the power of hypnosis. The Finding Gold meditation is available as a powerful hypnotic MP3 recording for instant download. Just relax and listen. The easiest and fastest way to reprogram your inner wealth blueprint. Meditation # for your true goal. There are 3 different types of people in this world. The first group, which I'm sorry to say is also the largest, have absolutely no idea what they want. They are usually very clear about what they don't want, and they like to moan and complain about that, but they haven't the first clue about what they'd prefer in its place. These people struggle through life and generally feel like victims. Most people are in this group, but very few people realize. The second group are convinced that they know what they want, and they consume enormous amounts of energy getting it. Unfortunately, when it finally arrives, it turns out that they didn't want it after all. At this point they decide that they want something else and they repeat the cycle over and over, often for many years. The third group is a very special group. This group know exactly what they want, and most importantly, they know why they want it. They get what they want very very easily, and when they get it, it is most satisfying. As a therapist, I see hundreds of people that want to change something about their lives. One of the first questions that I ask my clients is not what would you like to change, but how would you prefer your life to be? However, a vast majority of people still answer this question by telling me what they don't want or what they want to get rid of. To give you a very typical example, perhaps the most common reply that I receive from clients that want more wealth is that they don't want to be poor anymore. Not wanting to be poor is completely different from wanting to be rich. Not wanting to be poor focuses on the past, it feeds poverty consciousness and creates more lack. When you focus on debt in a negative way, it grows. So worrying or complaining about debt is a big no-no. It gives it energy and that makes it bigger. There are two caveats to this rule. To take control of your debt, so that you can develop a repayment schedule and eliminate it, requires a complete understanding and awareness of the debt that forces you to focus on it. The big difference here is that the focus is in a positive direction, so it's constructive. When you focus on your debt as a way of analyzing your situation so that you can better it, you are feeding energy into finding a solution to your problem. The second caveat is to use your fear of debt as a motivational force to take action. We'll be looking into this in more detail in the next meditation. Those two caveats aside, your primary focus absolutely has to be on increasing your abundance. You must focus on what you desire before you can get it. You must set a goal before you can achieve it. But that's just the beginning. If you don't have a clearly defined goal, then you will never achieve it. If you want to change your life, you absolutely must set a goal. Some people do set goals. The goals are very clearly defined, measurable, achievable and motivational. This kind of goal is incredibly powerful. To your subconscious mind, a clearly defined goal works in exactly the same way as a blueprint. You might like to think of your subconscious as the creator of your reality. When you program it with a blueprint, by setting a clearly defined goal, your subconscious mind will manipulate your world until it shifts into alignment with that blueprint. At this stage we are very close to achieving our desire. But, there's still one problem. Very few people actually know what they desire. Think about it. If you set a goal to own a brand new Aston Martin, do you really want an Aston Martin? Whatever you think, the answer is no. What you truly desire is the feeling that you think having that Aston Martin will give you. When you actually get the car, it's very unlikely that you'll get the feeling that you wanted. The trouble is that very few people recognize that they want the feeling, not the car. As soon as you can recognize this, you realize that you no longer need the car, you just want the feeling that you think owning it will give you. So you set that feeling as your goal instead. Everything you could ever possibly desire in life comes down to feelings. Everything. There is nothing that exists that you could want for any reason other than the feeling that you believe it will give you when you have it. Think of something physical that you desire right now. Preferably a material possession. Now ask yourself why. Why do you want this thing? What do you feel it will give you? How will having it make you feel? What will you have, be or do once you have this thing that you don't now? It may take some soul searching, but with a little bit of digging, and a lot of honesty, you'll come up with an emotion that is hiding behind your desire. It doesn't matter what that is. It could be something as simple as it'll make me feel happy, or it may be something a little more difficult to admit, such as girls will think I'm cool and sexy, so I'll get laid more often. Whatever you come up with, ask yourself why. Why do you want this feeling or experience that you think owning the original desire will give you? Let's take a look at a simple example. I want a flashy sports car. Why? Because I'll look cool. Why do you want to look cool? Because girls will notice me. Why do you want girls to notice you? Because I'll get more sex. Why do you want more sex? Because I want to feel loved. Why do you want to feel loved? Because I want to be happy. Before we move on, I should take a moment to remind you here that your desire must always be stated in the positive. So in this example, notice that our guy wanted more sex because he wanted to feel loved. He didn't want more sex because he wasn't getting any or because he felt unloved. It's pretty safe to assume that he did feel unloved, but the focus must still be on what he wants. So here, it's to feel more loved. And then we move on to being/feeling happy. Do you think that by owning a flashy sports car our guy would automatically look cool, get noticed by girls, have more sex, feel loved and become happier? He might, but it's very unlikely. So what happens when our guy gets his sports car? He still feels unhappy. So he starts looking for another solution. Maybe a fast motorbike. Or some cool jeans. Or a new aftershave. Etc. etc. None of these things will give him what he truly wants, but he'll spend a huge amount of time and energy getting them. The solution is simple. Keep asking why? Over and over again until you can go no further. Whatever emotion you are left with is your true desire. This must become your goal. Now that you know what you really want, getting it is easy. Simply create a clearly defined goal with your desired emotion as the focus and pour all of your energy into its realization. The really funny thing is, when we put everything else aside and focus on our ultimate goal, the feeling behind the things that we thought we wanted, we get that feeling very, very quickly. Then, as if by magic, all of those things that we thought might lead us to this feeling start appearing in our lives. Our guy must become happy first. Then he will feel loved, get lots of sex, feel cool and get to drive a flashy car. It sounds backwards, but it's not. Focus on the end emotion and everything else effortlessly falls into place, much faster, and infinitely more satisfying, than focusing on the original goal. So, we now know how to discover our true goal. Next we have to deliver it to our subconscious, and that's where our meditation comes in. To begin your meditation, simply close your eyes and relax into an alpha state. Once you are suitably relaxed, begin contemplating your goal. If your goal was to feel happy, then imagine how you'll feel when you are happy. Imagine that you can see yourself meditating and pay very close attention to the muscles across your face. Watch them shift as you imagine becoming happier and happier. Visualize the way you will look having achieved your goal. The changes may be very subtle, such as a softening of the skin, the indications of a smile or a slight shift in skin tone. You may notice that you look peaceful and content or excited and youthful. Really explore the subtle changes in your face, and as you do, begin to feel those changes in your own face as you meditate. Next, repeat the exercise by noticing the subtle changes in your posture. As you imagine your happiness increasing, feel energy shifting through your body. Notice the way that you are able to let go of any tension and become increasingly relaxed. Become aware of the position of your hands, arms and legs. Notice the way that your shoulders, chest and stomach move as you breathe. Pay close attention to all of the subtle changes in your posture and allow yourself to shift into this new way of sitting as you meditate. Now imagine that you are walking. Notice the way that you walk as you increase that feeling of happiness. You may notice several changes as you become happier and happier. Many people walk slightly quicker than usual, with a relaxed but erect posture. You may have a slight bounce to your step. How are you moving your arms? Do you swing them more than usual? Where are you looking? Most people find that they begin looking around at eye level during this exercise, whereas they usually look down while walking. Really explore all of the subtle differences that you notice about your walk now that you are feeling happiness flooding every cell of your body. At this point you should merge with your visualization, so that you imagine that you really are walking. With each step imagine that you are becoming happier and happier. As you breathe in, imagine that you are breathing in happiness, and as you breathe out, Imagine that you are sending this wonderful feeling out to other people. Continue walking in happiness as you create a wonderful scene around you. Imagine that you are walking through a park. There are lots of beautiful people in the park and you immediately notice that your happiness is incredibly contagious. Make eye contact with each person as you pass them and smile as you send them more and more happiness. Sending out this wonderful emotion causes you to attract even more, and you suddenly realize that your whole being is channeling pure happiness. You notice that the more you send to other people, the more you feel rushing into you. You can allow yourself to become even happier now. Notice the immediate shift in your facial expression as you smile broadly to yourself. Notice that your walk has become an even happier walk, and really open your heart to this incredible feeling that is flowing through every level of your being. Now imagine that you are walking towards a physical manifestation of your goal. You already have the emotion that was hiding behind the goal. The magnetic qualities of this energy have attracted the very highest form of your goal to you. You can now imagine that a physical manifestation of that energy is yours. Whatever this thing is will be unique to you. It might be a house, a car, a holiday, or some money. It could be a loving partner or new quality or skill that you wanted to develop. As you accept this wonderful expression of your happiness into your life, become aware of the way that you feel. Notice that it feels wonderful to invite this reality into your life, but you are also aware that you don't need it. You can bathe in the happiness that you have already created and recognize that you can be happy if you have this thing and if you don't. Send this thing happiness and peace and connect with it on an energetic level. Allow everything to be perfect whatever happens, and then invite it into your reality. When you detach from needing something and feel happy regardless, while sitting in the emotion that fuels the attraction of that very thing to you, you become incredibly magnetic to it. It seems paradoxical, but in reality it's immensely powerful. Simply feel the emotion you believe your material desire will give you, allow yourself to fully connect with it on every level and invite it into your life, while at the same time detaching from any neediness or desperation. Enjoy exploring this experience for as long as you desire before bringing yourself back to full waking consciousness. Reprogram your mind with the power of hypnosis. The Your True Goal meditation is available as a powerful hypnotic MP3 recording for instant download. Just relax and listen. The easiest and fastest way to reprogram your inner wealth blueprint. Meditation #5 Get motivated and take action. Once you have a clearly defined goal, you must take action. Unfortunately, this is the part that most law of attraction enthusiasts neglect. There are several reasons that people don't take action. Some people fear failure, so they don't even try, others fear success, so they only try a little, and a few don't think they need to take action at all because their cosmic order will automatically take care of everything for them. However, by far the most common cause of not taking action is a lack of motivation. Motivation works in two ways. We can be motivated towards pleasure, this is called towards motivation. Or the carrot, and we can be motivated away from pain, this is called away motivation. Or the stick. Most people find that one system of motivation works much better for them than the other. Personally, I am naturally away motivated, so I only take action to avoid pain. This kinda sucks. I'd much rather be towards motivated, or at least a healthy mix of both. Away motivation is thwart with problems. This is how it works. First of all, let's choose a goal. We're going to keep this really simple for the purposes of this demonstration, so I'm not going to go into the emotions of the goal, just the material value. Our goal is to be a millionaire. As an away motivated person, the idea of becoming a millionaire isn't motivating at all. Sure, it'd be nice, but thoughts of a millionaire lifestyle don't do anything for me whatsoever. They're good for daydreaming, but that's about it. As far as a force for motivating me into action goes, they are useless. For me to get up and do something towards becoming a millionaire, I have to believe that not doing so will result in pain. Pain, or rather the avoidance of it, is what drives me to take action. So I do nothing. After a while I run out of cash, I max out my credit cards and bills start piling up that I have no way of paying. Do I do anything about it? No. I still don't feel motivated. Next, I receive a barrage of final demand letters and I am threatened with court action if I don't pay up. I imagine bailiffs beating down my door and selling off all my personal belongings. My pain alarm goes crazy. I take action. That night I don't sleep a wink. I spend all night working at my computer desperately trying to raise enough cash to keep the bailiffs off my back. I imagine how upset my partner will be if we lose the house. The pain is far too close for comfort and my motivation to do something about it is at boiling point. 4 days pass without sleep. For 20+ hours a day I am glued to my monitor doing everything I can to bring in some extra cash. My eyes are burning. Within a week I've managed to generate enough money to pay off the worst of the bills and I can finally breathe again. What happens next? I relax. I stop taking action because I stop feeling pain. My motivation has evaporated and I go about my life as if nothing has happened. Am I any closer to being a millionaire? No. About 2 months later, I run out of cash again. I know how to get more but I don't do anything about it. I simply shift from debit to credit and consume more money that I know I can't pay back. Another month passes and the red letters begin piling up once more. This time I don't take action. It's not as scary as before because I've been desensitized to it. Last time I was terrified because I believed everything they said, this time I know they can't really make me pay everything back in 7 days. That's just crazy. So I don't feel the pain. And I don't take action. The threats get more serious and collection agencies take over several of my debts. I begin to worry. The pain begins to grow. I take action. This process continues over and over and over. Each time I allow things to get a little more out of control before I do anything about it because it takes longer for the pain to kick in. That's just human nature. The first time you have to get up and speak to a group of people can be terrifying, but you get used to it. Each time you take the stage it's a little less painful. It's just the same here, because I'd been threatened before it wasn't so frightening. Unfortunately for away motivated people like me, not frightening means not motivating, so the problem just escalates out of control. I admit that the story sounds rather personal. That's because it is. This was my life for years. I was well and truly stuck in a downward spiral because I only ever felt motivated enough to take action when not doing so would have resulted in massive pain. I was the same all the way through school, college and uni. I never ever revised until the night before an exam. I started essays just days before they were due and I got into heaps of trouble practically every day because I was always late. It was the same at work. I couldn't even motivate myself to leave for work on time because I only felt the motivation to go when I was imagining the pain of being reprimanded for being late. And that didn't kick in until I already was. So, away motivation. It kinda sucks, but it can be incredibly motivating. During those weeks that I feared every phone call and knock at the door, I worked in excess of 120 hours a week. I regularly went 2 or 3 days without remembering to eat. I even remember one time that I spent 4 days solid at my computer. I only moved to use the toilet or refill my coffee. It's crazy how quickly your legs stop working when you don't use them for a few days. Just walking to the bathroom was near impossible. Anyway, enough of times I'd rather forget. The point is, away motivation is very motivating, but only when it's way too late. Of course, the other problem with away motivated people is that they stop taking action as soon as the pain goes, so they never ever actually achieve or finish anything. You should have seen the state of my house during that period. Every room was a half-finished nightmare. Towards motivated people are an entirely different breed. They think about how wonderful it would be to be a millionaire and seduce their brains with mouth-watering images of the good life. The thought of it becoming reality is so tantalizingly delicious that they immediately spring to life and make it happen. They don't stop short of their goal because their motivating force, pleasure, is still very much there. In fact, it's even closer. They can almost taste it. Just a little more work. A towards motivated person can set a goal and continue working very happily until it's realized. A great example of how this plays out in day-to-day life is housework. If you're towards motivated, then the thought of your home being neat and tidy will inspire and motivate you to take action. You'll then continue to take action by constantly drawing energy from your vision of the job complete. When your reality matches your vision, you will feel the pleasure of a job well done and stop. The reason you've stopped isn't because the job is done, it's because the motivational force is no longer present. The motivation comes from the desire to close the gap between your reality and the ideal. When it's closed, you're done. Away motivated people tidy up because someone's coming round, and the thought of the embarrassment you'll feel when they see the state of your house is painful. So you do a quick tidy until the mess is reasonable enough to not embarrass you. Again, the motivation is very powerful. If you had ever witnessed how quickly I used to be able to make my house presentable in the time it would take a friend to get to my front door once I'd seen their car pull into the drive, you'd be amazed. Another problem with away motivation is that you tend to live life right on the limits of acceptance. This means that you are saturated in the vibrational frequency of lack. You stew in negative energies that poison your reality and cause you to attract much more of everything you don't want. But when things get bad, it is very, very motivating. Whether you consider yourself to be away or towards motivated, I'll wager that you'll do much more to avoid pain than you would to gain pleasure. Imagine that two people are climbing ropes. If person A reaches the top first, he will win everything his heart desires. He and his family will be set for life. Person B's rope is over a pool of sharks that is rapidly filling with water. The only way that he can stop the water rising and avoid being eaten by the sharks is to beat person A to the top. Who do you think will feel more motivation to reach the top first? The avoidance of pain is always the stronger force. Imagine what lengths you would go to if your daughter was kidnapped. What are the limits of what you would do to get her back safely? Consider the limits of what you would be prepared to do to avoid that kind of pain, and then ask yourself if any amount of pleasure would motivate you to take that same action. I am guessing that it wouldn't. So, as we can clearly see, away motivation definitely has its uses. When I was first beginning to explore self-improvement, I tried to change my life with temptation. I imagined how great life could be and made a concerted effort to seduce all of my senses. I visualized the exotic cars, expensive holidays and luxury homes. I painted an incredible picture in my mind that should have catapulted me into a frenzy of action. But it didn't. I completely neglected the fact that I simply don't feel motivated from the promise of pleasure. It wasn't until I realized that avoiding pain was my driving force that I was able to make things happen. So, during this meditation, we're going to make damn sure that you feel motivated to succeed. It doesn't really matter which direction of motivation you prefer, because we're going to be using both. It's the best way. And we're going to get you completely pumped so that you are positively champing at the bit to get started and keep on going until you've made it. Of course, you still have to take the right action. That's why I left this meditation until last. Everything you've done to this point has prepared you for this moment, so that when you finally go for it, all of your energy will be channeled into something that will get you the results that you desire. Because away motivation is so powerful, it can be a great driving force for getting you started. It's a little bit like pushing a car. The hardest part is getting started. Once the wheels begin to roll, keeping it going is easy. So we're going to use the power of away motivation for the hardest part. Getting started. Of course, once the car is moving, you don't want to stay at the back blindly pushing. You need to jump in and take hold of the wheel so that you can steer the car in the direction you want to go. This is where we switch towards motivation so that we can remain focused on our goal and, by the law of attraction, achieve it. If the car starts to slow down or stop, we might have to get out and push again. So every now and then it's a good idea to give yourself a little away motivated scare to spur you along. Ideally, we want to spend as much time as possible positively focused on our desire in a way that inspires us to achieve it. But if that alone doesn't motivate us into action, we can always scare ourselves a little until we absolutely have to do something about it. Our motivation mediation is based on an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, technique called the swish pattern. With a little twist. To begin, you need to create two scenes in your mind. The first one is to be used as in a way motivator, so you'll want to make this as terrifying as possible, and the second one is to be used as a towards motivator, so it has to be utterly delicious in every conceivable way. Your scenes will be unique to you because they will be based on your fears and aspirations. Create the negative scene first. This scene is the worst case scenario of all the nightmare things that could happen in your life if you don't take action to achieve your goal. You should focus on your fears in this scene, and connect those to not taking action. So, if your biggest fear is death, then you should create a scene in which not taking action on your goal leads directly to your death. An example might be that your debt spirals out of control, you lose your home and end up starving on the streets. Another great motivator is the thought of having your children taken away by social services because you cannot provide adequate care. There are many stories of people that hit rock bottom and lost everything before they could find the motivation to succeed. Many famous and well-respected millionaires have spent time on the streets. Joe Vitale is an excellent example of someone that had to go through the pain of loss before he could appreciate success. Going through something like that is incredibly motivating. You reach a point where you finally snap and make a determined promise that you're going to make something of your life. Once you go through this transformation, there's no stopping you. From that moment onwards, whatever life throws at you, you keep on fighting, keep on pushing and keep on moving ever closer to your goal. The fear has pushed you into overdrive and now you are completely and utterly focused on the realization of your goal. The beautiful thing is, our subconscious minds cannot tell the difference between an imagined or a real experience, so you don't have to hit rock bottom to bounce back. You only have to imagine it. When you can create a scene in your mind that is so filled with fear that it forces you to take action to avoid its manifestation, you have the power to achieve anything you desire. This is the only situation ever that I will advocate focusing on something negative. In order to make your scene feel as real as possible, use all of the tricks that you have discovered throughout this book. Step right into the experience, bring it closer, make it bigger and brighter. Sound can be incredibly powerful for creating the right atmosphere. Take inspiration from Hollywood and add a soundtrack to your scene that would befit the latest horror movie. Imagine you can hear your heart thumping in your brain, feel your breath shorten as panic and fear rip through your being. Whatever scene you have created, you must imagine that this will become your reality if you do not take action to achieve your goal. Now step into the future and imagine that it is already happening. Imagine that you are having this horrific experience and the only reason it's happening is because you didn't take action to achieve your goals. Imagine right now that you can see your children being led away screaming by social services. Imagine that you are reading the letter explaining that your house has been repossessed, or that a loved one has died because you couldn't provide the financial support for the simple care that they needed. Now ask yourself how this happened. Think of all the things you have been wasting your time doing when you could have been taking action. Perhaps all of your time was spent lounging in front on the TV or playing on a games console. Maybe you wasted all of your time chatting online or watching porn. See how these seemingly innocent activities have escalated to a point where they have consumed your entire life. All of the hours that you have spent in front of the TV have robbed you of your future. If only you turned the set off for a measly 15 minutes a day and invested that time in taking positive action, you could have avoided all of this. Feel the immense guilt and pain of realizing that you are solely responsible for your life and it's out of control. Connect to the emotion of this experience and feel anger building up inside. Allow that anger to grow to a point where you feel as though you've been catapulted into action. Whatever it takes, you have got to put this right. You have to make this good. Your determination should be so powerful that it almost leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. Your anger is a powerful driving force that will guarantee that you never slip into your old ways again. Now, let's create the positive scene. Actually, before we do, it might be a good idea for you to get up and have a little walk around, shake off the negative energy that you created during in the away motivation scene and take a moment to calm yourself. You might like to drink a glass of water. Okay, now it's time to completely seduce your scenes with a scene that is positively oozing with a lifestyle that is so delicious that you can taste it. Again, this will be unique to you. Dress your scene with whatever you desire. But remember that it's the emotions behind the physical things that you really want, so make sure you completely connect with those. As well as creating the scene you desire, you should also create the you that you desire. If you want a sexier, slimmer and more athletic body, then give yourself one. If you want a head full of thick luscious hair, then make it so. Pay close attention to the details. Notice how well manicured your fingernails are and the way that your smooth skin has a healthy and vibrant glow. Notice the sparkle in your eyes and your gleaming smile. Notice how effortlessly and gracefully you move and how confident you appear. Now bring in the people that are close to you, your friends and family. Notice how proud they are of your success and how much they truly appreciate and admire you. Notice how your life is positively affecting and inspiring theirs. Of course, this scene is unique to you, so include whatever you want to have in your life. If you want a jet-set lifestyle with glamorous models hanging from your arm, then make that your focus. You don't have to use all of my suggestions. Be true to yourself and include the things that you want to experience. Make your scene as real as possible by making use of all of the techniques you have discovered in this book. Bring the scene closer so that you can step right into the experience. Make the colors bigger and brighter, add a fanfare of trumpets or an uplifting gospel choir. Imagine you can hear people congratulating you on your achievements. Use all of your scenes to fully connect with this experience. Now, the most important part. Whatever you have imagined, connect it to the emotion of love. You can do this in many ways. If you have friends or family in your scene, you can feel love for them. If you have exotic cars or a luxury home, simply love those too. You might like to imagine that you are relaxing in your hot tub sipping champagne as you gaze up at the stars, and as you do, feel love for your life. For this to be really effective, you need to open your heart and allow love to pour through you. Send love to everything and everybody in your scene, including yourself. Take a moment to bathe in this beautiful feeling before moving on to the next stage. Feeling gratitude. This is incredibly powerful and very important. Whatever you have created in your scene, connect with it now on an emotional and energetic level and feel genuine gratitude for it. Do this with everything you have created. Continue to everything and feel love and gratitude until you achieve a state of bliss. Now turn your attention to yourself, and thank yourself for what you have achieved. Recognize that you did this. You made this happen. Thank yourself for the journey that has led you to this wonderful place, and now take a moment to remember that journey. It started out with you feeling anger as you became determined to change your life. As you think back to that time, you can remain in bliss and recognize that all you had to do was to start taking action. Just 15 minutes a day was all that was needed. Now remember that the more action you took, the better you began to feel, so you started to take more action. It became such a powerful and positive feeling to know that you were creating your life in this way. See the journey now and feel a tremendous sense of gratitude and love for what you have accomplished. Now that we have created both scenes, it's time for the swish. Our version of the swish is a little different to anything you may have seen before. We'll begin by taking scene to the positive one, and projecting it out in front of us. Make it nice and big, full of color and totally delicious. Fill it with everything you could ever wish for and make sure it oozes with love, gratitude and joy. This time, we are not in scene 2, we are just looking at it. As though we are watching a movie. Become aware of the edges of the screen and pull it back away from you a little. Now imagine that you are standing inside a huge catapult. You are inside the sling of the catapult and the elastic stretches out to either side of the scene. When the catapult is pulled back, you move backward away from the scene, and when the catapult is released you are projected into the scene. Very quickly. Now we are going to pull the catapult back. Imagine that the positive scene is getting smaller and smaller as you move further back away from it. Hear the elastic creak as it reaches its limits, and then imagine that the catapult has been locked into place. Poised and ready to fire. Now we need to recall our first scene. The negative one. Bring this scene up in front of you so that it hides the positive scene from view. Just as before, you need to connect with this scene and feel the emotions of it. Connect with the fear of losing everything. Imagine bailiffs banging at your door, social services taking your children and your house being repossessed. Imagine anything and everything negative that might happen if you don't take action to achieve your goal. Really pull out all of the stops and scare yourself so much that you refuse to put up with this horrific life choice anymore. As you look at the terrible life that awaits you if you don't immediately change your ways, you feel an anger building up inside. Allow that anger to grow to a point where you become so determined to change that nothing will ever stand in your way. Know that you do have a choice. All it takes to change everything is to set the intention to succeed and take action. Know that you can be something great. Notice that your anger has fueled your desire and transformed into something wonderful, the determination to succeed and the inspiration to make it happen. Now, it's time to make yourself a solemn promise that you will do whatever it takes to make 100% sure that you will achieve your goal. Nothing will ever step in your way again. Nothing can hold you back. This is your destiny. Clench your fists and feel a powerful surge of determination coursing through your body as you set your intention to be successful. Now, with your fists still clenched, and your promise set, we are going to count down from 3 to 1. On the number 1 we will release the catapult and you'll smash through the negative image of the past and find yourself fully and completely absorbed into the positive scene that is your future. As soon as you enter this experience you'll feel a rush of love and gratitude surging through your body, and you'll know that from this moment forward nothing can prevent you from having, being or doing whatever you desire. 3, 2, 1. That's great. Feel yourself rushing into your amazing life and allow those incredible feelings of love and gratitude to fill every cell, molecule and electron of your body. You can be, do or have anything you desire. Now go get it. Reprogram your mind with the power of hypnosis. The Get Motivated and Take Action meditation is available as a powerful hypnotic MP3 recording for instant download. Just relax and listen. The easiest and fastest way to reprogram your inner wealth blueprint. Only $27. Click here to order. Special offer, save $95. All 6 hypnosis recordings for only $67. Click here to order. www.5meditations.com. The Law of Attraction Beyond 2012, coming soon. Check www.cosmicorderingsecrets.com for updates.